Charles, why are you special?
To be honest, I don't think I'm special per se. I am just persistent. If I want something, I'm going to go for it. Everyone's special in their own ways, right? But it's, what is your drive? What is your mission? For me, that's like how I kind of look at life.
I mean, we think you're special. You wouldn't be here.
My mother thinks I'm special as well.
Well, add us to the list with your mother. No, I think the audience will too. Navy veteran, Jiu-Jitsu black belt and professor. Is that the proper
correct
term? Now, I don't want you to break my arm right now. And it's soon to be attempting a world record to roll 48 straight hours doing jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, I'm super excited for that. I've done it actually 2 times. The first time I did the roll, it was tough just because I didn't have the right nutrition, and I just basically winged it.
You just winged it.
And then the second time, I kind of a little bit more prepared. I had Jocko Fuel sponsor, so they sent me a lot of product, and that was for 35 hours. So this year we're doing 48.
I'm Herb Thompson, a Green Beret and resolutionist.
And I'm Corey Thompson, Herb's less hairy half and branding expert.
Our guests come from various backgrounds, but one thing is true. They are special.
I have to ask, after the 35, what was it that compelled you to say, you know what, that wasn't long enough?
One of our students, she's a nurse. She took my vitals afterwards, and she's like, "You're still normal. Like, it doesn't act.
Really?
You haven't done anything." So basically, once I woke up from my nap after I went to sleep, which it was really hard to sleep, which was really tough. I thought
afterwards.
I thought I was gonna fall asleep right away. I did, and then I woke up, and then I was up for the rest of the night.
Yeah.
But I think for me, it's always about pushing myself to the next limit, and not just pushing myself, but for me, it's never about like Charles Gomes as the individual, right? It's like, what is the mission? What is the purpose that we're trying to do? And the purpose for the 35 and the 24 hours and the 48 hours this year is for our veteran community, right? That is the purpose. So we're doing it on Memorial Day. So what greater honor than to do something so special on Memorial Day for our fallen heroes?
I do want to back it up a long time ago, though. Do you remember coming to America as a kid?
I do. I was 7 years old when I came here to America.
From Brazil.
From Brazil. I mean, obviously, like the memories I have of Brazil, like are negative memories, especially when I was a child, because, we're poor. But I remember getting on the plane. I remember like running up and down the aisles of the plane, like all kids do, seeing like cars everywhere and buildings everywhere. And I'm like, where am I? Like, I'm in a whole new world.
Because your village was just a little fishing village?
Just a very small fishing village, like very poor. So like going from, it's like a 180 transition from like being super poor to like a middle-class family automatically in the United States. Like that's like unheard of. Like I didn't speak any English. My mother didn't speak English. My brothers didn't speak English. The only one that spoke English was my dad, and he's my stepdad.
So you're the oldest. So did you become the translator for the family?
Yeah, I did. Well, and it's funny because like, especially in the early 1990s, like speaking a different language was very frowned upon. It was always pushed like, hey, you guys can't be speaking Portuguese at home. You got to only speak English. And it makes sense, right? Because you want to simulate as much as possible.
Sure.
Because my mom doesn't speak. My brothers don't speak. I don't speak. So, you have to kind of learn as fast as you can to kind of be able to live and be like a normal kid.
It can be tough on a kid.
Yeah.
Tough.
But one thing I remember vividly when I thought like, okay, like I've made it as a kid, trying to learn the Pledge of Allegiance. And I don't know what the words mean, right? Like at all. But all the kids stand up at right at the bell. We say the Pledge of Allegiance, and I'm just there crossing my hands, like, what do I say? Like, I don't know what I'm doing. And I remember vividly working with my dad, like to learn the Pledge of Allegiance, and remembering the first time I was able to like recite it from start to finish. Like I felt so much joy.
Yeah.
Because I felt like I was just another kid.
Oh.
Right. I might have not known what the words meant.
Yeah.
Sure.
But in its full context,
right.
But being able to do it from start to finish, I think it was
you fit in.
You fit in, but that's when I feel like I became like a true American, right? Because I'm an immigrant, but
sure.
I felt in my heart, like in my body, I'm like, okay, I'm an American because I'm able to do this.
What was it like growing up, that transition after you learned the language? Was it still tough with your family having come from Brazil?
I remember having fond memories of my childhood. My dad did a lot for us and for our family. And a story I love to tell, and which is a little bit embarrassing. So in Brazil, like all the women like will basically like use makeshift brooms to clean like the dirt from the floor. And we live like in a condo in the United States. And my mom every morning would go out and like be like sweeping like the sidewalk. Like, what are you doing? And my dad just let her do it day in and day out. I mean, and she was just like having a good old time just sweep. And I'm like thinking now, I'm like, Dad, what were you doing? Like, why would you let Mom do that? Like the neighbors probably thought, these weird family.
That reminds me of there's a guy in your town that rakes.
Just rakes leaves, rakes the grass around town, up where I grew up, and you see him say, "Hey, buddy." I don't remember his name, but he always says, "Hey, buddy." He's
So
going to be
she was
raking.
probably the broom lady.
Yeah, sure. I'm sure the neighbors probably thought she was crazy. Like, because like in America, like,
Right.
like the street.
The street
Like,
sidewalk.
yeah, like whenever I want to talk to my dad later on today, I'm going to ask him, like, what were you thinking?
As a married man.
As a married man, he said, "Hey, I know if I tell her not to do that, it's going to be a problem." Something I haven't learned where I'm like, "Hey, that's probably not a good idea." And then that
would probably be your mom's response.
So yeah, that was a fond memory. But like I remember having just like a standard middle class American family. You know, we had dog, you know, our neighbors, we played soccer, you know, like just the normal American life. I don't think anything was special per se. Obviously, like learning English was tough as a kid, but you pick it up faster than we do as adults.
Yeah.
But I always, because I'm the oldest, I was always like trying to protect my siblings, right? So
that's how you got good at fighting.
I got plenty of stories with my dad. Yeah. Remember one time I was probably in middle school and my middle brother and I were just bickering back and forth. He just grabbed some big boxing gloves. He's like, "Put him on."
Yes.
Yes. He's like, "I don't want to hear you bickering. Let's go." I was like, "Okay, let's go."
That's old school
Go about your day.
parenting.
Yeah, it is.
No gentle parenting in that generation.
No, and I mean, I think you see the success that comes from that. So from that childhood, you joined the Navy.
I did. I think most of the guys in our generation, you know, obviously September 11th had a huge impact. I remember I slept on, I think I was watching TV and I slept on the couch just because I was watching TV the night before. And I woke up and I was listening to Steve Harvey, his morning show in California. He had a morning show. And I remember them talking about, and obviously by that time I woke up here because I was in California. It already happened in the East Coast. That had a huge impact because up to this point, like, yes, I was living the normal American life, but I always knew, like, as an immigrant specifically, like I had to do more for this country than it's done for me. And that was one point where I said, okay, well, America's giving me so many opportunities. I'm able to go to school. I'm able to live a good life. Now it's a time for me to give back to my community and my country that's given so much to me. So obviously September 11th was a huge turning point. I was a senior in high school when that happened. Basically 2 months later, went right into the recruiter office with my mom, and she thought I was crazy. And I joined the Navy.
That is such a pop. Man, I got goosebumps right now thinking about it. Just that moment in time for our generation. But I wish more people who were born here have that mindset that you just spoke about. A
lot of it had to do because I was an immigrant, right? I felt like I had to give more, but I knew that if I wanted to be like a true American, it's living past you and it's giving it to the country that's you'll be able to give your kids and your grandkids and the future generation. So
many more opportunities to give back to your country and give back, and then it turn around and reward you.
Yeah. And I think for us, like the military, my personal opinion, and again, it's my personal opinion, is that I think if you're not going right away, right into a 4-year college per se, or you don't have a job lineup right away, I think you should go to the military, right? For at least 4 years, because it'll allow you to grow up faster, especially as a young guy.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because you were 18, 17?
I was 18 years old, when I went in. It allows you to mature faster. It allows you to build new skills and gain new knowledge that, yes, like I'm sure the college life is real fun, but at the other end, like those kids are learning different life skills, right, than we were. We like as
sometimes
life and death,
and leadership opportunities
your brothers
come
and
very
sisters
early.
next to you, right? Like they might get hurt if you don't do your job correctly. It's not like, oh, can I pass my test today? That's important for future things, but I think just different responsibilities, right? That we were afforded to learn because we're able to.
I wouldn't say everyone should do the military, should do something, whether it's Peace Corps, military. There's other stuff around the community.
I did mission trips.
Or mission, No, I think that's
service,
another
right?
one.
At the end of the day, like we should serve.
Yeah.
Because I think that's what we're made to do, right? We're made to serve, to help those that are less need, those that are in need.
What were you thinking the first time you stepped on an aircraft carrier?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's, over 5,000 people that are on board. It's a small city, like whatever you need, barber, dentist, surgery, whatever you need, it's on that ship. But yeah, so when I stepped on the carrier, it was massive, right? I remember the walk up all the way to the top, and I was like, if I fall, I'm going to die, like almost at times I wish I can go back, right? Like we leave and then we miss the BS that we used to hate, right?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
For my experience, like being in the woods in a foxhole or in a perimeter, there's just stuff that happens.
Yeah.
And I got to imagine being on the ship, there's just shenanigans.
Oh, for sure. I mean, so I actually started jiu-jitsu when I was a sophomore in high school.
Oh, okay.
And I hated it.
Really?
Like I absolutely hated it. So in high school, I was probably like 110 pounds. I remember this guy was in side control and his hairy chest was like on my face.
Oh.
And I was like, this is dumb. Like, why would anyone want to do this? But then when I got on the Navy, when I got into the Navy, my DC-1, so he trained. So he's like, you're Brazilian, you don't train jiu-jitsu? Like, what is
it's big time in Brazil, right?
I mean, like, that's it's called Brazilian jiu-jitsu. Yeah, we used to have Friday night brawls in the ass shop, where basically close that manhole, right? And then don't let officers come down.
Did you have a lookout?
Come down. We had lookouts. We'd have boxing nights.
This is the movie that needs to be made.
Oh man,
movie producers.
This is
the one.
We'd be boxing, rolling, wrestling, whatever it was. MMA fights down there.
Oh, wow.
People would leave bleeding, and then you go to medical. What happened? Oh, my head hit the.
Did you ever sleep underneath your bunk?
No. So
did you know anybody
I was on the
did?
top bunk. I was never going to be underneath anybody. So in the Navy, there's we call it coffins. Right, so it looks like you're in a coffin. So there's 3 levels:
great.
bottom bunk, middle bunk, and then the top bunk. So I never wanted the 2 because somebody would always be stepping on your stuff, right? So I was always on the top bunk, so I'd step on everybody else's stuff and not mine.
Now on the ship, were you a firefighter?
Oh.
I was. So Shipboard Firefighter. We dealt with basically anytime there's a fire, obviously, any type of flooding, chemical, biological warfare. Right, gas masks and things like that. So I was responsible for those things like that. So yeah, obviously if like a torpedo hits or something like that, so different compartments will be flooded. So you have to make sure it's not compromised.
And then you decided to leave the Navy.
I did. So after 4 years, I decided to leave, and I went to school to be a firefighter. Finished my fire academy. When I joined, and then I went to the fire academy, I knew I wanted to be a firefighter, but just like as we're growing up, you go to the fire academy, you're trying to find a job, and it's tough. I started working in sales, software sales, make a little bit of money, and like,
that 30 grand a year for a firefighter role doesn't look so appealing after software.
We transitioned to sales, and then kind of went from there.
And then you end up working for Lamborghini for a while, right?
I did, yeah.
It sounds really horrible.
Yeah.
So unfortunate.
Not a bad job for a young guy. So I worked for Automobili Lamborghini, but our headquarters for the United States is actually in Herndon, Virginia. But they're part of the Volkswagen Group. So the Volkswagen Group owns Lamborghini, Bentley, Bugatti, Ducati. In 2012, I was working for the software company in Southern California. and Lamborghini wanted to use their software for their customer relations management side because they didn't have a CRM. Basically, if you called customer relations, like it just went to like a phone number that nobody picked up. And if you emailed, like nobody emailed you back. But to be fair, it's like it's such a big brand. But when I joined, there was 12 of us that ran all the Americas. Finance, like it was 12 of us that ran all the Americas, right? So it's a big company, but at that time it was like a startup company. I had like an hour and a half interview. The guy's like, all right, you start in about 20 days. So I was like, what? Like there's no round two, right? Like that opportunity came up and then I decided to pack all my thing in my car, drove across country, and here we are.
Did you drive it in your Lamborghini?
I had a Mazda 3 at that time.
Did you roll up
But
impress them all?
Well, and then I bought an Audi TTS, which is my current car now.
So, but you got to drive Lambos? Then?
Absolutely.
You were telling us about one that got crashed. Are you okay to share that?
Yeah,
more?
so that one was a $500,000. We had a client that was driving, and we would drive with the client, and he lost control, went over a cliff, and thank goodness, like it rolled like 2 or 3 times, and it got stuck in a tree. And man, like, so then obviously it was new policy afterwards, like no one drives with a client, like they got to drive by themselves. So if they're going to go, they're going to go by themselves. They're not taking us.
Dude, that's crazy to wreck a $500,000 car. Like, but as you're doing this, were you still doing jiu-jitsu then?
I started jiu-jitsu basically right the day after I got out of the Navy in 2006, May 2006. And I've been doing jiu-jitsu. This May will be 20 years that I'll be doing jiu-jitsu. So at that time, I was still doing jiu-jitsu and competing. And my boss for Lamborghini, Rene, hey boss, how you doing? He's this old German guy, right? Old German guy. He's like, Gomes. He's got long blonde hair. And he's like, don't go out there and lose and make us look bad. He's like, because if you lose, I'm going to take you down. I'm like, okay, boss. He's like, he'd probably be blown away knowing that like 20 years later, I'm still doing jiu-jitsu. I have 2 schools. Right. And
all right, internet, do your thing. Yeah. This is your moment. Find him. What's his name?
DC1 Rossetti, Tom Rossetti.
Let's find it. The man now owns 2 jiu-jitsu gyms. So you leave Lamborghini to open up a gym?
In 2019, I knew I was going to open a jiu-jitsu school. I decided to leave because I got another opportunity with a different brand. They were starting a brand new, so Genesis North America. So Genesis is the luxury side of the Hyundai group. Well, they weren't a brand at that point. They were trying to split into its new brand. So they went after like guys like me, guys from Ferrari that came from like the luxury side. Because obviously like they're trying to sell $90,000 cars, but you know, in a space where that's $20,000, right? So they needed somebody that had kind of luxury experience. So I did that for about 9 months, and then I just knew that wasn't for me. And at that time, my school's already open.
So you'd already opened?
Yeah, we already opened Gracie Baja Ashburn, and was doing really, really well. So I was like, okay, well, this is my time. I got to go full in, right? So anytime we kind of half-ass anything, like it never kind of goes our way. So just jump in with both feet.
And then COVID happened.
And then COVID happened about 6 months later. Yeah, worst business idea during COVID. One thing I'm so thankful for is like within that first 6 months, we built such a strong community. I think we lost maybe 6 total people stopped training jiu-jitsu. They kept supporting us, and once we got over that hump, then it's just been amazing.
Now you have 2 gyms.
I do. I own. Well, I'm a co-owner. Myself and my business partner, Professor Dana. She's one of my black belts. She manages the GB Ashburn location, and then I manage the GB Leesburg location. That's one reason I actually wanted to leave the corporate world. Like I loved Lamborghini. Like it was such a fun job, but you're still part of a huge bureaucracy, right? Like the Volkswagen Group is still huge, and they treated me really well, but you still have to jump through so many hoops. Where jiu-jitsu, I tell the story all the time.
You just have to roll through them.
You just have to roll and get to choke people out, right? Well, one of a really cool story is one of my student. He came in because he was getting bullied, like really bad. And like he was a typical 6th grader, just like hunched over, a little bit overweight. Walks in our school and he sees the kid that's bullying him, like in our class. And I was like, but to be fair, the kid just started with us like a week and a half before he joined. But, you know, like in the military, like, you know, when we have conflict, like you just
put on the gloves.
Let's go. So I put them to train together, and the kid that was getting bullied, like beat up the kid that was bullying him. So there's like no more bullying afterwards because you can't bully someone that can beat you up.
Yeah.
Last year, he was ranked number 3 in the world of all kids in his division.
And how's that impacted his confidence? Have you seen a difference?
I mean, it's huge, right? Like the kid, he's grown up in his body now. He's a sophomore in high school. You know, he walks with his chest up, and he knows too. Like he's like, well, even if somebody were to bully him, like he doesn't need to do anything about it because he knows what he can do.
That's I love. Could you hit on that? Because a lot of people just that confidence from, but like that, I don't need to fight you because I know what I can do.
Yeah. But the delusion is like 95% of us have never fought in our life. So in our mind, we can fight, but like when you actually put your hands on somebody, like it's a different world. What I love about jiu-jitsu is I get to see the transformation of these kids. Like your boss isn't going to try to choke you out. Like I will choke you out, but your boss isn't going to. Like, so you put things in perspective. So you guys have kids, like, and especially when they're young, you're moving from Target to the grocery store. You never really have full like connection with your kids. So when they're at jiu-jitsu with us, it's the one time that they have an hour of no phone, no distraction, and you can't think about anything else except like what's in front of you.
You can, but
like if you're getting choked out, right? So I think that's been like the huge impact is bringing families together through jiu-jitsu.
And through this, you're going to attempt a world record to roll doing jiu-jitsu for 48 straight hours.
48.
Are you nuts?
I mean, I think we're all a little nuts in one way or the other. But yeah, it's for me, 2 years ago, I wanted to do this challenge and roll for 24 hours straight, 10-minute rounds with 1 minute off, and for 24 hours.
And then just 10 on, 1 off, 10 on, 1 off. 1 minute breaks. So
like each student will sign up for a 30-minute slot to train with me. Then I was like, okay, well, I looked at what the world record was for the longest training session for one person, and it was 30 hours. So I was like, last year, I was like, okay, well, we'll go for 35. If you're going to go, might as well go full force. So we did 35 hours. So technically, I do hold
You do currently hold the world record.
I currently do hold the record. I was like, well, what's more than 35 is 48. Let's see if we do it 2 days in a row.
We got to work on your math there. Like, hey, yeah, let's just add like
your percentage of increase keeps exponentially increasing.
But that's just insane. 48 hours, no sleep.
No sleep. Yep. So again, 48 hours, 10-minute rounds, 1 minute off. And again, the goal isn't for like me as Charles to get this world record. The goal is to get between $20,000 to $50,000 of donations for our local veteran groups. That's what I want to live for, right? Is I understand how much our military means to us. You know how much the military means to you, and as a spouse as well. We give our veterans a lot of opportunities while they're in, but then once they get out, it's almost like we've been pushed aside and it's on to the next. And we still got to remember, like, these guys and girls gave everything, and some of them gave it all. So for me, it's my responsibility to still give back to our community.
So how can people donate if they want to contribute?
If you go to our Jiu-Jitsu page, which is for our Instagram, it's going to be GB Leesburg. We'll have
no www.
There's no www, just GB at gbleesburg.com. We're partnering up with Hyper Performance, and all money will go through them, and then they'll give it to our local veteran groups within our own town.
What do you think should be the hardest part rolling for 48 straight hours, other than rolling for 48 straight hours?
Rolling actually. So it's funny because you think so. The hardest part were like my 3 and 4 year olds that signed up to train with me for like a 10-minute round, because they don't have enough output. So like I'm trying to stay awake, right? I'm just doing everything. So that was actually the hardest part. My neck was on fire. So this year I'm going to be a little more strategic. I'm going to do no-gi, which is basically just a rash guard and pants or shorts.
Yeah.
And then I'll do half of it in my gi as well. The sponsorship is like, we're going to have like Amazon that's going to be sponsoring the event, and they're going to be sending some of their employees to come train with me, right? So that way there's representation of Amazon and hopefully Google and some of these other big companies to kind of support. But yeah, so whoever signs up, and when they sign up, I have some teenagers that they've convinced, like 11-year-old, 12-year-old teenagers that convinced their dad to sign up at 2 a.m.
Oh,
So
wow.
their dads are waking up.
Yeah, because it's a family decision to come at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
So next year I'll have to be like 60 hours or something. We got to get.
Might be
100 with the way your math
72.
works.
So if I'm going to do another one, it will be 72, and then I'll stop there.
Yeah, I think
And
that's-
72 is because Gracie Baja, GB, right? G for 7,
Ugh.
B for 2.
Mhm.
It was like our number back in the day. So I might do like a 72 and then try to see if we can get like a special edition, like gi made through our corporate GB wear.
Yeah, because that's worldwide, right?
Yeah, so we have over 1,000 schools, 1,200 schools worldwide for Gracie Baja. But for us, it's Master Carlos who kind of we're following under. His goal is to have a jiu-jitsu school in every city, because it doesn't matter if you're white or black, you're Muslim, you're a Christian. It doesn't matter when you're in jiu-jitsu, because we're all sweating together. You have to have respect for one another because your life is in their hand.
Amen. Everyone should hear that. I do want to add, you are so much time. You have the 2 gyms that are co-founders. You started another business.
I did. You asked if I was crazy. I think I am. I literally don't have enough time for my 2 businesses now. But last year, a couple of days ago, on the 6th of April, my dog Petey last year passed away.
Mhm.
He was my beagle. Like, they're your best friend, and just Petey was just always there. You know, the darkest times, he was always there. He would listen to you. He just loved you. So I was devastated when he passed away. So I didn't have a backyard because I was like luxury apartments.
Did you
And-
sweep the sidewalks?
No, I could no. But you know what's funny? I picked up dog poop. I literally, this is going to be the clip. I went from Lamborghini headquarters to picking up dog shit. And so, like, people would never pick up their dog.
Wait, so not just your dogs?
No, others. Yeah, because people would just walk and like not carry bags. And so I didn't want my dog stepping in it. My 2 dogs, Petey and Penny. So I would be picking up their dog waste and throwing it away. I just had this like idea back in January. I see my dog Petey. Like, every time I put my shirt on or my hat on, or my employee puts their shirt on, like, I see my dog, and it's me just bringing him back to life and knowing that he's just not gone.
We can certainly relate to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Liberty right there.
So I know a guy that he makes over $4 million picking up dog waste.
We're in the wrong business.
I'm in the right.
You're in the right business.
Man, I pick up our dog's poop. I'll pick up other people's poop. We're going to be rolling like that.
So yeah,
Nice.
so I mean, I expect to be around 150 to 200 clients, weekly clients that we service before
Commercial or residential?
both. Residential is going to be our main,
Yeah.
like 70%, but we'll have about 150 to 200 before the end of the year that we'll be servicing.
So you literally just go to their house and you pick up the poop.
Yep.
And put it in a bag and leave.
So we will have a rake, right, and then a wastebasket. We'll put it in. The smaller dogs are harder. You know, I love the big dogs.
Yeah.
The big dogs you can see.
So
You know where it is at.
so you want the big dog poop, not the
Not
little
the
dog
little
poop.
ones. Yeah, but it's.
Are you charging them by the pound?
I probably should. I probably should at some point, right? We do take waste away for some clients. Obviously, there's an additional fee that they want, but yeah, for sure, it's been a fun journey. I've learned a lot. You know, it's a different business, but on this side, it's like it's a recurring business, which is what I really love.
Mm.
Like, I want to build my jiu-jitsu school, and then I want to build this business because it's all going to go to my nephews and nieces.
Mhm.
You know, at the end of the day, like that's what I do it for. I don't have any kids myself, so you know.
I don't know when you would have time to have
I
kids
know.
yourself.
But all this is going to go towards my nephews and nieces, and
Yeah.
give them the opportunities. I love this country, especially being an immigrant. It's my responsibility to make this country better. As a child, I couldn't dream of this opportunity. So all the employees that I have that I bring from Brazil, right, after we go through the visa process and things like that, like I try to instill in them how America is the only place in the world as if you really work hard, you can make it. It doesn't matter where you came from, because I came from dirt. When I say dirt poor, like we didn't have, like our floor was dirt.
Like
like
not
literally,
dirt poor to the U.S., dirt poor.
it was literally
outside
dirt. Like there was no concrete, there was no cement, there was no, like, it was dirt. It was 4 walls, a roof, and we slept in a hammock, right? Like that's what we did in Brazil. But going from that kid to now, owning 3 businesses, trying to have an impact with our veteran community as much as I can. Always tell those that kind of talk negative about America, go out, go see where I came from and see why I appreciate America the way I do.
We say it too. If you go, don't just go to a resort and not leave. Go experience the
culture. What I really try to live is having that gratitude of life, right? Because, a lot of people are they hate growing old. Like, I wish I was 20. But man, how many of our friends never made it to 40? Right.
It's privilege.
It's a privilege that those that didn't make it don't have, right? So for me, I love getting old. I love going full in and jumping full in into everything I do, because I want to give another kid another opportunity like the way I had. So all like our instructors that come in, like I try to tell them, one of the first things I do is I give them a Dave Ramsey book. I'm a huge Dave Ramsey proponent.
Yeah, I love it.
And the 7 baby steps for me is I give them that book because I need them to understand, like, you got to save, you got to work hard, and then eventually you give. Right. So the 7th baby step, and that's hopefully where I'm going to be soon, where I can just give more because America's given me so much.
I love it. Great leadway into what do you value most in life?
I value connection with people. Most people don't want answers. They just want to be heard. Right. So I value being able to be that person that they can hear. And also there's no judgment. Right. Because again, your life is your life. I didn't live in your shoes, as your life isn't in mine, right? So for me, I value being able to connect with people from different cultures. And one thing I've learned dramatically is I worked for Lamborghini headquarters, one of the biggest brands in the world. I was talking with billionaires all the time. And today I'm picking up dog poop. And I can have the conversation with a billionaire, and guess what? I can have the same conversation with a janitor, because they're both just as important, right? This person that has $1 billion is not more important than this janitor, right? They have different values in their time as of right now. So for me, that's what I value the most: being able to kind of connect with somebody, either if they're a millionaire or somebody that's just just Joe Schmo down the street.
Subscribe, like, and comment, and don't forget to set those notifications. We'll see you next week with another special guest.
Until then, own your journey.